thank you for joining us for another episode of FLX Brunch. I'm your host, Christina Roberts with Finger Lakes Wine Country, and joining us today is the team from Watkins, Glen International. We have Michael Prinnup, the president of Watkins, Glen International. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Christina. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. And with us, we also have Andrew Smith, the vice president from Watkins, Glen International. Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
And then also from the Finger Lakes Wine Country team, we have Lori Ward, our fearless leader, the president of Finger Lakes Wine Country. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for FLX Brunch. We have been so looking forward to talking with Michael and Andrew. They are dear friends of ours with Finger Lakes Wine Country. We have worked with Michael and Andrew and their team at WGI for many years now, and they are an integral part of Finger Lakes Wine Country. They're the country part of Finger Lakes Wine Country. So many people, Michael and Andrew, so many people know of the bigger events that you do. You've got the races, you've got festivals, you've got track rentals. They don't know that you all almost every single day you've got something going on at WGI. Tell everybody a little bit about the things that they don't even know about.
Yeah, on a normal year, this is not normal with COVID out, but we start racing around the first week, second week of April, and we go all the way through November or to November 1st. So we could probably go longer, but there's race cars that come from all over the Northeast, the short Midwest, down to Washington and up, and it keeps us busy. I mean, Andrew and his team on the marketing and ticketing and credentialing side, it's a pretty substantial business, not just to us. It's probably more substantial, to be candid, for the community. You're trading out anywhere from 100 to 200 drivers a week, male, female, hotels, restaurants, gas stations. It's a pretty busy time for us.
Yeah.
So you're not joining us because you're in the office. It's a Sunday and you're at the office.
Still working.
But Andrew, you're joining us.
Right. Cheers.
You're not drinking the hand sanitizer.
Cheers. At least the cheers to welcome you all to our brunch.
Cheers.
That's
So,
right.
Lori, what are you drinking?
Cheers. Cheers.
Lori, what's in your glass?
Okay. This is amazing. This is McGregor Vineyard. This is their 2017 Rosé de Cabernet Franc. So literally it is dry, dry, dry. So many times, for those of you who are not familiar with dry rosés, you look at this and you think it's something sweet. This is not. This is beautifully bone dry. And the Cabernet Franc grape, as we all know, if you get straight Cab Franc, it's a red wine. But they press the juice out, and most grape juice is clear, so they press the juice out, and then they just let it sit on the skins for, I think this is probably, as light as this is, I think you can see it, they probably sit this on the skins for maybe 6 to 8 hours at the most. But this is so good with spicy food. It balances it out. I'm gonna have it with a barbecue pork with hot sauce on it tonight.
Hey, you got pull a Brady Bunch and poke the guy above you, because he and his wife love those rosés.
Oh yeah, Andrew, you do?
We do. We love rosés.
And it's rosé season. It's officially May, so it's like rosé time.
Well, and that's why I had to open this. I love this for springtime. And most of our wineries, most of our Finger Lakes wineries do some version of a rosé. So if you were drinking a rosé, Andrew, which one would it be?
We really like Zugabee off of Seneca Lake.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Zugabee? It's spearheaded a mixed case of Finger Lakes Wine Country rosés. There's 12 different rosés in a case. It's $190 plus shipping. And I know that's available now, but there's probably limited quantities, but they just announced it this past week. So that would be a good thing to get your hands on right now. I already ordered mine, so it's on the way.
And the thing about rosés is the lifespan, the shelf life is so short. They don't do a big run of them. So they're gone by the end of spring, usually by July. I don't think too many people have them. So the who have wanted to try rosés, now's the time.
That's right.
Coming out.
So, Michael, you're drinking hand sanitizer, but let's talk to Andrew. What is in your glass or in your can? I saw actually.
Yeah, I'm enjoying a Genesee Ruby Red Kolsch. So it's the summertime beer from Genesee. It's a great breakfast brunch beer. Perfect for the summertime.
It's delicious. I have had plenty of those. That's one of our favorites in this house for sure. So
now I haven't tried that yet. Why is it called Ruby Red Kolsch?
Because it's got a grapefruit flavor. So like ruby red grapefruits. So it's delicious. Great summertime.
yes.
That's me. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Andrew, put it up. Pour a little bit in my glass. There we go. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I should have prepared better because I have a bottle of Great Western champagne and it was not chilled for this morning. So I failed to not represent Great Western, of course, the official champagne of Victory Lane at Watkins Glen International. But instead, I did have on my wine rack a bottle of the Eclipse Red from Heron Hill, which is one of my go-tos. I have to always have a bottle of that ready. So that's what I'm drinking this morning. So getting started on the red wine a little early, but that's okay. It's quarantine. We can manage that.
Apparently, I didn't get the memo for drinking this morning. So.
And you're on a video with Finger Lakes Wine Country. Of course you should be drinking.
But it still said AM, I think, on my clock. So I was, but
No.
I can change. I'm not a prude. Yeah, maybe I can break away from this video for a minute and go run and find a bottle of wine. Who knows?
We might encourage that. I think if you want to go do that, we can certainly talk to your cohort and see what else is going on at Watkins Glen International.
Well,
All right,
yeah.
let me go give it.
Okay, go grab
me
one.
give
You
it a
go
shot.
do that. You go do that. So I think our viewers have obviously listened now to Andrew. And Andrew does not have a New York accent. So Andrew, you need to explain to everybody where you're from. Go right ahead.
Sure. So originally from South Alabama, real close to the Panhandle of Florida. Moved to Watkins Glen about 7.5 years ago. Met my wife here, and we live in Horseheads now. And we just we love the area, especially during the summertime, and everything that comes along with it. It's a beautiful area.
Well, and I remember the first time, well, one of the earlier times that Andrew and I were talking to one another, I said, wow, you really have a Southern accent. Are you from Alabama, Mississippi? He said, Alabama. And I said, what part? And he said, Enterprise. I'm like, well, my brother lives in Enterprise.
It's a small world.
I never really told you, but I did kind of stalk you. And I told my family about you. And I think they know your brother, mother, father, something. So there's, it's a really small world.
Oh.
Yep.
It's a really small.
If there's one thing you can count on from Lori is that she will stalk you online. She
I love
knows so much about people.
I do.
It's pretty remarkable.
I know.
Michael can attest to that.
Hey,
What did you grab?
Yeah, what'd you get?
Well, I remembered as we were chit-chatting that Tanya always has little gift bags with wine in them for just in case you need something quickly.
Yeah.
So I just stole one of her gift bags and picked up.
Oh.
I actually, this Hazlitt cab I really enjoy it. It's just got full flavor. It's got a nice blend. It's just really, they do an awesome job with this one. And I'm really proud to have it. Now, I'm going to be a little bit different because there's not wine glasses in the office, so I'll use a Watkins Glen mug.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
No one wants to stop.
Improvise. It's interesting that you bring that up, Michael, about Hazlitt. I think a lot of people know about Hazlitt's larger production wines, the Red White Cat, the Brambleberry, but their vinifera wines,
So good.
amazing. Michael Reedy, who is their winemaker, but they don't distribute. So any of you who look at what Michael's drinking and get all excited about a vinifera that you might not have had, you need to come visit Hazlitt because you can only get it in the tasting room.
Yeah.
Right.
And isn't it amazing? Their dry Dry Riesling is amazing too.
Their dry wines, especially, I love their dry reds. They are amazing, and they're doing some really awesome shipping deals right now. So Haslet1852.com, got to stock up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting on the shipping, and Andrew and I were talking about it post in another meeting, how it's picked up, and we all talked about it the other day, and it's like, our doors are closed. There's no revenue, but it's nice to see there's some alternative. There's a little bit of makeup, or maybe they're doing really well, and it's just maybe running flat. But that's good news for the wineries, because as you know, we love our wineries. Obviously, we know you do. Andrew, like you said, he and Bree, they know their wines up here. They get around often. It's just nice to be located in this area. And as long as our wines keep producing the way they are, I mean, they're world-class wines, and we all know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We are so fortunate. One of the reasons that Christina and I were talking about asking Andrew and Michael to join us on FLX Brunch is because we're all friends on Facebook, and Andrew posted, well, actually it was Bree. Bree posted an amazing meal. Andrew, you have to talk about what you made for Bree, 2 weeks ago or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you're talking about the shrimp and grits that we made. Being stuck in the house, we've certainly started cooking a lot more meals at home and not going out as much. And that's certainly something from down south is shrimp and grits. And it's really a pretty easy meal to make. It's not too daunting. And you can use a lot of great New York products in it as well.
What grits do you use? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think we're using Bob's Red Mill.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So they've got a great grits mixture, and the trick to grits is just not is taking your time with them, making sure that you keep them stirred so they don't start sticking to the bottom, don't clump up, and just take your time. And then the trick to making them Southern grits is adding cheese to it. There's some great New York cheeses that you can add to it. Yancey's Fancy is what we always add in ours, a great Yancey's Fancy cheddar. And then the shrimp we get from Wegmans, and we actually use frozen shrimp for that. You can keep it in the freezer. And so most of the things that you have, once you kind of stock up on it, you've got on hand, and it's something that you can, whip up during the weekday.
That's awesome. Would you be willing to share that recipe with all of our fans and followers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I could type it up, but the simple part of it is you get a good quality grit, not the instant stuff. Like I said, I think we use Bob's Red Mill. When you start boiling the grits, I like to use a little bit of chicken broth with it. That just kind of seasons them to start with. A good quality cheese. Once the grits are basically done, you add a little bit of cream, a little bit of cheese to it. A lot of bit of cheese, not a little bit of cheese. And just keep kind of stirring that in while the grits are still warm. And then, and then it's just preparing the shrimp however you like to. A really easy way that we've done it, and it helps add a little acidity to it, is use a little bit of the canned rotel, which is, tomatoes and a little bit of pepper. And then you just saute your shrimp in the saute pan as you normally would. It doesn't take very long to cook shrimp, as you know, and then you just top it all on top of the grits.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Bob's Mills? Is that what it's?
Bob's Red Mill, I believe.
Bob's Red Mill. I've been trying to perfect bread on this little trip. So I've gone through pounds and pounds and they make a really good flour too. But once I'm starting to get into the artesian breads, which then I like putting on a good New York brie, put that on there, another Yancey's, the Chardonnay or the Champagne cheese, and then with a baguette and a little bit of Chardonnay from Haslet. I'm a little partial to Haslet, but Dougie's got his Chardonnay and Lee's got her Chardonnay. Yep. I won't tell you the favorite, but Lee is awesome. It's I think most everybody knows it's oaked or unoaked. So like I said, I won't pick favorites, but Lee does a great job.
Oh.
That sounds amazing. Now I'm starving and I'm gonna need to go fix something to eat. So
Delivery.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of delivery lately, and I can't.
We haven't done any. Have you done any,
Really?
Andrew? Delivery?
Not a lot of delivery, no. Like I said, we've been pretty much cooking at home every night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We ordered from Thai Elephants down in Watkins, Glen, and picked it up, and that was wonderful. And we actually ordered from Elf in the Oak, did their fish fry once. And, Chef Orlando is now at Graft, and he's doing like family size.
Mhm.
So instead of like when you're in the restaurant, there's little smaller bites, but now he's doing full meals. So we keep saying, okay, we got to do that one. Up at the pizza place, Scale House.
Yeah,
They're doing a bang up job there. So
that's awesome.
we're doing a lot of cooking too.
Yeah, a lot of cooking, but there's some nights.
Is everybody wearing their mask when they go out?
Oh yeah,
Here's my.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have
Actually,
it handy.
my son, we just got him one, and it has Hot Wheels on it. So
Oh, how cute!
it's kind of sad, but like it's also so cute. Like he's 5, loves race cars, so we had to go with the Hot Wheels.
Oh, good.
My.
We'll have to give that young man a special trip at the racetrack when we open up later this year.
He would love it. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
It's so much fun, and I know Andrew enjoys it as much as I do, is when you take some of these kids, and whoever's kids, whether they're 2, 5, a little bit, like 4 or 5 and up to, 15, 16, you see some of these kids when they get that special interaction that Andrew and I do all the time. It's pretty neat to see their face because that smile it goes and it doesn't stop. So it's fun. I thought about doing some WGI masks, to be honest, and I thought it might be a jinx of carrying this COVID cause for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I did see that you guys did some goodwill and were delivering some meals over to the Schuyler Hospital last week, right?
Yeah, Andrew and I, Chris Cornett, had talked about it and wanted to see what we could do. We thought about, AmeriCrown, as you know, we own that company, but, we weren't prepared to open up the kitchen and do everything for them. So we collectively came up with an idea with the Holy Cows grand opening. They were cooking all those chickens, so we pre-ordered a ton of chickens, and
awesome.
were one of the reasons why they ran out so much. But we got to deliver them. It's a great thing to be able to support your local hospital, and for everything these people are doing. God bless them, because I don't know if I'd be sitting there going to work every day either. So
no
I give them
kidding.
a lot of credit.
Absolutely. And so any jinxing you may have done, I think you made up for it with that goodwill. So
yes,
you're safe. I think you're safe.
Yes, and it's interesting you talk about Holy Cow, because that was another place that we were going to order from, because Patrick and I live north of Watkins, so Holy Cow is in our neighborhood, but they do pre-orders. So if any of you are interested in ordering any of their specialty meals, like they're doing prime rib, but they've been sold out. They did the chicken last week. So go on their website or on their Facebook early and order so that you can pick it up on, I think it's Saturdays that you pick them up.
That's great. It's so important for all of us to do the pickup, delivery, whatever you're doing, because we all know these mom and pops. That's who I feel sorry for. We're in a damaging economic activity right now with our company, but we're bigger. We're gonna be fine. We own racetracks. We own the sport. But these mom and pop restaurants, I'm a big believer of helping them out wherever we can. And mom and pop may be the wrong word, but the smaller businesses or people that thrive on it. But I got to go back to the hospital for 1 second, because I wish I would have videoed this. One guy sitting in a car with a mask on, waiting, doors open in a van, and all of a sudden his kid and wife come flying. I assume wife, but they come flying out. The kid was probably 10, and his arm was not broken. And his dad was jumping up and down, almost crying, had a big, bandage and arm strung up, but his dad completely freaked out and was just singing, "It's not broken, it's not broken." And it was so funny to watch these three people and the kids like, "Yeah, get away from me, get away from me." The mom's crying, the dad's crying. It was like, and this little kid just had a big sprain on his arm. And it was kind of funny. I told Chris, I said, that's almost just as good as delivering meals. So
it is, for sure.
But hey.
That's so sweet. Well, it must be hard with the dad not being able to go in with them, and then, so that's a very sweet story.
Yeah, and Dad probably did it because he probably tackled him playing football.
It's probably Dad's fault, for sure.
That's probably why Dad was so happy.
Right, roughhousing. Oh my gosh! So many people are probably watching this and saying, "Okay, you've done your brunch with museums, you've done your brunch with wineries. Okay, now you're doing the brunch. Two women are doing brunch with racetrack NASCAR. A sport that typically women are not interested in. Now, Christina has a little story about WGI and her soon-to-be husband. We need cheers on that.
Oh yeah,
Cheers
definitely.
on
Cheers
Dan
on
and
that.
Christina.
Cheers! Congratulations!
Cheers,
Yeah,
cheers.
I'm recently engaged, and we started dating. It's almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in a few weeks, and he's a huge auto racing fan. Like, we wake up Sunday mornings is F1, Sundays is NASCAR. He's watching anything he can with any auto racing throughout the week. And so WGI is a very special place for him. And he spends his summer there, and all of his friends, and we camp. And so our first summer together, we started dating in May, and June, the last weekend in June, 6 hours, and I'm there the full weekend. And then, every single event, we're there camping the whole week or the whole weekend. And so much so that we bought a camper last year, and we actually camped for every event last year. And I've fallen in love with it. And I always say that, WGI is such a special place to us because that's where I fell in love with Dan. And we spent all our weekends there. I mean, when you're first dating, it was long weekends together, and that's when, you really get to know each other. And so it's been really special. It's a very special place for us. So much so that when he was going to propose to me, which was a surprise, last month, he actually took me up to WGI on a road trip. Like, we just drive around the region, just to get out of the house. And we drove up there, and he got to gate 2, and he was like, "Let's get out and take a selfie." And I'm like, this man, he would never suggest a selfie in a million years. So I'm like, what? Like, this is ridiculous. So, and it was actually snowing on that day, and it was really cold. And I was like, I don't know about this. And he read my mood, and he was like, okay, well, it's fine. Like, next time we'll come up and it'll be okay. So we leave. Day goes on. Later that night at home, he proposed to me, which was very sweet and amazing. But he starts laughing, and I said, I can't believe this. He's like, well, you would have had it about 6 hours ago if you would have gotten out of the car at WGI. And sure enough, like, he told me the whole story that he had planned to propose there, because I always say it's the place that I fell in love with him, and that we, really our relationship blossomed. And so it is a very special place for both of us, and, a very dear place in both of our hearts. So it means a lot to us to, have that memory. So it's almost funnier that we didn't actually get engaged there, because I was like, what? So that's our engagement story.
So I told Christina the day when we were talking, I said, so it's a second marriage for me now, almost 2 years. It'll be a second marriage for Christina. I said, you should get married at the SSR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what Lori's planning for our wedding.
That's
we're not objecting to, but we're just enjoying our engagement at this point. So.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you so much. So yes, WGI is a very important place to us.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. It's very cool. And so yeah, I've fallen in love with the sport of auto racing. And specifically NASCAR. I do enjoy it. I think I know people's names more than Dan does at this point. So yeah, it's definitely something people wouldn't realize about me, but it is a very interesting sport, especially when you start to understand the engineering and mechanics behind it all.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, you hear it. I know Andrew hears it. It's an emotional place, and I think this whole region is emotional, in a good way. That what we have to draw on, whether it's the racing, you started earlier, Lori, about the wine festival, or the different events that we have. It's an eclectic, old place, but it's brand new all at the same time. And Andrew and I know we both enjoy it. We have a good time up here. It's racing, it's family, it's friends, it's all the businesses, it's the hotels, the marinas. I mean, it's just a good place to go to. And Andrew, anything more that you would add?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, Christina, I'll tell you, you're in good company. That's really a lot of the business that we're in, is creating those memories for people. And that's probably the most rewarding part of our job is, creating those memories with family, memories with life partners. It runs the gambit at the track. And, we get to hear a lot of those stories. It's something that you can take for granted when you have been around the sport a long time, but it's always very humbling to be able to, play a part in that for so many different people.
That's wonderful. It's something I never would have dreamed. I mean, I grew up, my dad watched NASCAR, and, I was obviously familiar with the track. I'd been there a number of times, especially for work events and everything. And I appreciated it, but never understood, actually the ins and outs of the sport and how anyone would want to spend an entire weekend at a track. But now I can't get enough. So waking up to Good Morning Race Fans is like my dream.
Well, I will tell you, we run the gamut because and I'm only guessing at this. You three are much smarter than me. There's procreation at the racetrack. We're guessing. And then there's also the other end of the spectrum where people will bring their ashes of family, friends, aunts, uncles, grandpas, that they wanted their ashes spread at Watkins Glen International. So we don't have a policy on it. It's kind of like don't see, don't know, don't tell, because we get it. There is that much emotion. And I ask my counterparts, I'm sure Andrew does too. I'm like, do you get these kind of questions? Because people call and ask first, and it's like, yeah, let's not just do it. Don't run on the racetrack and do it. Let's leave it at that. So,
yeah. Wow.
But it runs that rabbit.
Yeah, it is. It's a very special place, and I think, like you said, Michael, the region in itself is all about creating memories and creating connections, and I think WGI is certainly an important part of that story. So I appreciate both of you being here today. Lori, thank you for joining me on the hosting job.
Yes, this is wonderful. I think the four of us are very fortunate in that we have loved ones with us that we are sequestered with, for lack of a better term. And I know, Michael, you've got a son who is in high school and who is a golfer, and then an older son who is, do I remember correctly, in the military?
Second lieutenant officer in the military. He's actually right now, he's in Ranger school. So we can't talk to him for 63 days.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
the good news is we can follow the progress of the team. And all they do is tell you today was cutoff day. And that means make it or break it, or you get kicked out.
Wow.
Well, he hasn't been kicked out because that means he'll call us.
That's true.
We don't want to hear from him. Not kicked out. What they do, they recycle.
Right.
It's like taking an exam and you pass the first page and the second page you don't. Then you got to go back and you don't have to do first. But anyways, yes, second lieutenant in the Army. We're really darn proud of him. And Andrew's father, career military as well. So really interesting career because I love what he did.
Oh, that is wonderful. And thank your son. And we thank your son for his service. So you're at home with Bree. And don't I know that you have a puppy?
We do.
Baby corgi?
He's being quiet right now, so he's being good.
Good.
usually nap time in the afternoon for him. But yeah, he's just over a year old now, so we've had a lot of fun with him.
That's amazing.
That is wonderful.
A year already?
Yeah, it's been a year, a little over a year now.
It was fun. I was growing up with his dog in terms of Andrew would come to work and say, yeah, chewed the crap out of this, chewed the crap out of, I mean, I've been there. So obviously the dogs go through those stages. He's like, yeah, chew the hole in the carpet. We'll just wait till he gets over this before we replace anything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's probably days I would take the corgi, the puppy, over my 5-year-old. So. He's actually upstairs right now, and I told him, mommy's doing a video, and I told him I was going to be on YouTube, and he loves YouTube, so he thinks it's like pretty much the coolest thing ever. So that's the only reason he's being quiet and leaving me be right now. So.
Mom's a YouTube star. Mom's a YouTube star.
Real big YouTube star.
Oh, too funny.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone taking the time this morning to celebrate everything we have to be thankful for this time, during a tough time. But I think, there's always time for laughter. There's always time for good memories. So cheers to that. Cheers. I appreciate everyone's time, Michael, Andrew, and of course, Lori. We hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next week for another episode of FLX Brunch.